Hi everyone, this is Jason
and Lorraine
from the Sow the Land podcast. This is our
number 4
podcast.
It's the fourth episode.
Okay. And in case you're wondering, we're also YouTubing, shooting video for this podcast along with our previous podcast, so you can listen to us and watch us. So I think we get two different groups of people messaging us. Yeah. People that really like the podcast, and people say, oh, I don't listen to podcasts, but we watch more YouTube videos, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you just ran into somebody at the grocery store, didn't you?
I did, and she was super thankful that we started this podcast, because she was just saying she's a busy mom. She doesn't really have time to sit and watch YouTube videos, but she listens to podcasts on her way to work or when she's going about her day. And so she was thankful that we started the podcast.
Yeah, and I got a message from somebody saying, hey, I think they were working on a new chicken coop. They were building a new chicken coop, and she was like, hey, we're listening to Sow the Land podcast while we build our chicken coop. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we're getting around. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that's exactly why we wanted to do this podcast.
Yes.
I mean, to reach maybe a different audience, maybe somebody that doesn't have time to sit down and watch YouTube videos. You know, maybe podcast is more.
Yeah, for all you drivers out there.
Yeah, there you go. Driving to work.
Yeah. So, tell us about your week.
My week, okay. Okay, I'm still working on. I've been over at Justin and Rebecca's place, building them a greenhouse.
That's Justin Rhodes. For any of you who are on podcast and don't watch YouTube, Justin Rhodes has a very popular YouTube channel, and he's pretty well known in that area.
Homesteading community. Yeah, and they're in North Carolina, and so they had asked me to build a greenhouse, and so I've been out there a few times, maybe a couple times out of the week. I'm there, and I'm still working on the greenhouse, and that's coming out nicely. You could check out his channel. He's been documenting that build, the greenhouse build, and then we're also documenting that build and doing YouTube videos on it. But yeah, I think it's coming out nicely. I got the 2 end walls to do still, and also a door. But I mean, the majority of it is pretty much done, and I think they're happy with it.
Yeah, I think they are.
I think
everyone who's watching along is kind of like so excited to see the end result, or to see the finished greenhouse. Like, everyone's so anxious and anticipating this final build. Like, it's really nice. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, it's coming out nicely. I'm happy with it. So. And
these are Anna White plants?
Yes, Anna White. If you don't know who Anna White is, she's
another YouTube.
She does YouTube, but she was one of the first woodworkers that provided free plans of whatever she builds, and she caters more towards very simple builds, very beginner woodworker. And she's been around for a while, and I think she's one of the first to actually provide plans for people, which I think is great. And I've built other things from her plans before, and it's pretty awesome that she has these plans available.
Yeah.
But what else did we do this week?
We butchered a cow.
Yes. That was the first for us.
That was the first for a large animal for us. We butcher our own chickens, our pastured poultry that we raise here on our property, but for a larger animal, that was a first for us.
Yeah, and we did that at our friends Art and Bree's house, or their homestead. Mm-hmm. They're another
YouTubing family.
Yeah, they're another YouTubing homesteading family.
Yeah.
So you can check out their YouTube channel it's called Art and Bree. Really awesome family. We're really happy that we got to hang out with them. And yeah, they had a family cow that was born on their homestead, and they decided to. I mean, this was the plan all along, is to butcher the cow, and so they could put it in their freezer. And they invited us over to help them out. You know, we got to learn a lot by doing that, and I'm super thankful that we got to be a part of that.
Yeah, it was such a wonderful experience. You know, we came from the city. We would never think that, you know, here we are 3 years later in the mountains of Western North Carolina butchering a family cow, like hands on.
Yes.
Total hands-on experience. Like we weren't just watching.
Right.
Like we were really helping out, and it was such a beautiful experience to help harvest this cow on harvest day and help bring, you know, this family some meat to nourish their family. Yeah,
I mean, it was actually, I didn't know, I think we didn't know really what to expect, but Art, he's done larger animals like that before, so he definitely knew what he was doing, and but we did not, and we're just kind of there and just watching it, and then, you know, hands-on too, and being a part of it and just helping out. And it was actually easier than what I imagined. So they didn't actually butcher, like cut up the cow. They actually took it to a processor, but in order to take it to the processor, they had to take off all the fur and all the innards and all that, so basically get it prepped and ready for the processor, in which it was actually a pretty simple process. I thought it was going to be more, I thought we were going to be there all day.
I actually thought it was going to be messy.
Right.
I don't know, because chickens, I mean, the cows and the rumen animals had like that rumen bag. Is it? Am I saying it right? Rumen. They have a bag that holds everything in there, versus like a chicken where we process that. There's just like these ropes and ropes of intestines and other things that are just loosely in there. So it was very clean. Like you just, you know,
it wasn't,
everything just kind of was in a bag.
It was bad. Even the, like, we skinned the cow, and even that part, you know, I think the key is just having a sharp knife.
Oh yes, always when butchering any animal.
Yeah, but I think, like, you know, when we very first started looking at growing our own food, you know, that was like 10 years ago, and when we were very new to gardening and chickens and all that, I don't think there's any way that we could probably actually help butcher a cow back then.
What do you mean, like physically? Like we weren't?
Yeah, just mentally, like
mentally
not ready for that. Like that was just so. I think that would be so shocking.
Yeah.
And like, oh, I'm not sure if I could do a large animal like that, you know, or even a chicken. I don't think we were ready for that.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, we butcher our own chickens, and as we are in this space, you know, in this homesteading community, and as we talk to people and talk to people that have done a larger animal, or, you know, also do their own chickens, and just in this community space. And I feel like as we're here and as we are talking to more people about it, like almost on a daily basis, like I feel like it became kind of more normal.
Yes.
Right? Like,
but also at the same, I want to add that it doesn't desensitize us.
No.
Even though in a way it becomes more normal, but it doesn't desensitize. There's always that factor of like, this animal sacrificed its life for us, and it's never easy. It becomes more normal, like, okay, this is where our food comes from, and this is what we have to do to eat sustainably raised meat.
Yeah, and I think it's comes down to, you know, I think it, you know, it was kind of sad.
It was sad.
Right? I mean, Yeah, I mean, I imagine maybe more so for Art and Breed and their family, because you know they raise this cow for, you know, a little bit, and but for us, I mean, I felt a little bit sad, but I think that's normal. Like feeling the sadness a little bit. It almost, I think, because I think that's what it comes down to, where we are connected to our food. You know, we wanted to, and that's why, really, why we wanted, one of the reasons why we wanted to homestead,
Right.
to be more connected to our food, and to know where our food comes from, and if possible, how to process food ourselves.
Right. And Penelope was there with us.
Yeah.
And she helped. She was very hands-on. We talked to her about it and asked her what she thought of the whole process, and she thought it was pretty neat. You know,
I think it's just, she's curious, and
yeah, she wants to be hands-on.
Yeah.
Like, she appreciates it. She knows where her food comes from. She knows what the process is to eat meat and what the cost is of it. I have a story that I want to share with everyone. Another homeschooling friend of mine, she was sharing that they process their own chickens, but when the very first time they did that on their homestead, their oldest son, who's probably about 9, that night they sat down for dinner, and they had processed the chicken earlier that morning, and they sat down for dinner in front of this like roasted chicken, and everyone was starting to eat, and he was like, wait, everyone, we all need to be quiet. We need to just not eat a whole bunch of it, and we just need to really appreciate this animal that we sacrificed this morning for us to eat, and just enjoy this moment and be respectful. And I thought, that's so beautiful. Like,
yeah, that's
he
awesome.
Gets it.
Yeah.
He totally gets it. Like, I think
great.
Our children get it. Like, there's this level of respect for the animal that has sacrificed his life for us. Don't gobble it all up, you know, in the consumerism style. Just, you know,
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Enjoy savor every bite.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I think. That's, yeah.
It was beautiful. I was so happy that she shared that with me.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it was a beautiful day, and I'm happy that we were there and to be a part of it.
That morning.
It was cold.
It was about 30 degrees.
Yeah, but I think that was good for the processing of it, and you know, afterwards, you know, they took it to the processor, and we all had lunch, and
hung out.
It was a sunny day, and it ended up being a really beautiful day.
There was a couple other families there that we kind of celebrated this harvest day with them, and just the kids were playing, and the adults were just sitting around chit-chatting about the homestead life. Yeah. And it was a beautiful day.
It was nice. Yeah, we did shoot some video of that. I still have to edit that video, and we'll get it out there hopefully this week. But yeah, it was a good day. What are you drinking there? What are we drinking? I don't even know what we're drinking. You made this.
I made this. This is lion's mane tea.
Okay.
It just has lion's mane mushroom powder and some raw honey and
it's great.
Warm water. And it's lion's mane is like so powerful. I'm really into medicinal mushrooms. I love drinking mushroom tea. I would have to say lion's mane and reishi mushroom are my favorite mushrooms to drink. They both have different properties to them. Like lion's mane can help with your cognitive thinking and help your brain, which is not working right now, obviously. It helps you recall your memory, and it helps you keep like a sharp mind. And reishi mushroom, which is actually my top favorite, is a very relaxer. It's a calming mushroom, and it helps your body calm down. And I actually need that.
So the body's calm, but the mind's sharp.
Well, the reishi, yeah, I didn't mix reishi in here, but if I had mixed both of them, I'm just talking about my favorite mushrooms. Right. But yeah, that's why I actually drink both of them. I interchange them. Like there will be some nights where I drink, or days that I drink reishi, because I feel like I need to like calm, because I get really overexcited about things, and I and I express that. And then lion's mane helps me remember things, because I feel like I'm getting old. So yeah, it's good. That's my favorite. And then you like chaga mushroom.
Yeah, chaga's good.
Yeah, that's your favorite. That's like the king of all mushrooms. And if your immunity is going down, that's the mushroom you want to drink. Reishi's good for that too, but they all have.
What did you do this week while I was building greenhouses and building buses?
I actually shot a video for eating the weeds outside, and I think the title of that video for our YouTube channel was "Why We Eat This Weed Every Spring." Was it called that?
Why we eat weeds.
Why we eat weeds
every spring.
Every spring, yeah.
Yeah.
And that one was just me harvesting, Penelope and I, harvesting purple dead nettle in our property. We have so much of it, and right now is the time to harvest purple dead nettle on your property if you don't spray or, spray any chemicals on your property. So we don't, so it's perfectly fine to eat. Rinsed it off and made a smoothie out of it, and it helps your body adjust to seasonal allergies. So that's something, and people put it in salads too. You could totally put it in a salad. You don't have to put it in a smoothie.
Yeah, I think that was a good video to do, especially at this time right now.
Yeah, this season. Because
that video actually did really well this week, and we got good feedback from that. People started posting on Instagram and tagging us, saying, "Oh, we're harvesting purple dead nettle because of Solan's video," which is pretty cool.
I was still kind of bummed that I didn't get around to my embroidery video. I know, I promised everyone that I would, but I ended up doing the weed one instead. But I should have done the embroidery video. Still working on that. Still working on that. I think what's hard is sometimes you take the camera with you when you go out to Justin's, and then I don't have a camera.
Yeah, it is hard. It's like you need two cameras, but
yeah. Well, I think what I need is you to help me.
Film. It's because it's faster if I just film.
Yeah.
Instead of you setting up the shot and all these shots. Yeah.
I'm not as fast as you are with the camera.
It takes time when you're doing it by yourself.
Yeah.
But
I have time.
Sometimes if I'm home and Lorraine, she goes, "Oh, I want to do a cooking video, or I want to do an embroidery video." Sometimes it's usually it's just faster if I just stop what I'm doing, get the camera, and then just film. Yeah. While she talks for the camera, and I'm filming, and then we can just knock it out. Yeah.
I tend to get frustrated with handling the camera and all of the equipment. I'd rather just set it down somewhere and then leave it. But yeah, so that was it. That was what I worked on this week, and we filed our taxes. That was another big chunk of time for us, gathering paperwork. So if you're a small business owner, you know what we're talking about. Gathering up all your information for taxes.
I mean, that's a lot. That's everybody, I think.
Right.
Everyone has to gather information.
Yeah, and we're cutting it close. It's almost April.
Yeah, we're getting it done, though.
We got it done. Yeah, we were done. We're actually done with it, so.
I do want to say I actually was on a podcast recently.
Another podcast.
Another podcast. Seems like, we started a podcast and all of a sudden these podcasts are popping up. But it's called Gold Shaw Farms Podcast. And that's with Morgan. He also has a YouTube channel called Gold Shaw Farm. And I was recently on his podcast this week. And he had put 3 different podcasts out in the same day. And he just started his podcast. So Roots and Refuge, we're another podcast, and White House on the Hill were another podcast that he did. So it was a fun podcast to do, and if you can, check out Goldshaw Farm podcast on all those iTunes and Spotify and all those apps.
Let's talk about one of the questions that we got in from our podcast listeners. And one of the questions was, it's springtime. What should a first-time gardener be planting? And I think that's a great question because there's so many people who want to have a garden. And right now, if you're thinking about having a garden this year, right now is the perfect time to start getting ready for it. So I think that one of the first things that you need is space, like a little area. And you don't need much. You don't need much, right? And you don't have to go crazy and do like a full-on market garden. You can just grow plant just like 1 or 2 seeds. But what I was going to say was, if you're a first-time gardener, what I recommend is just going down to your local hardware store, wherever you have a nursery, and grab some plant starts. I feel like that's the easiest thing. I mean, if you have seeds already and you're excited about your seeds, put them down in the soil. Wait till your last frost date. So you can Google and find out when your last frost date is
in your area.
For your area.
Yeah.
And then after that frost date, put your seeds in the ground.
Yeah. I mean, seeds are a cheaper way to go because they're, you get a bunch of seeds for a good price. But I think, if this is your first time growing anything, I think it's probably better to buy plant starts.
Yeah.
Because I just think that will give you a better chance for the actual plant to grow when it's already got that head start. Mm-hmm. And I think, if it's your first time, you want your first time to be successful. You don't want to throw some seeds in the ground because there's, there might be a good chance that seeds don't even happen. They don't even grow. So if you buy plant starts, there's there's a better chance for the food to grow. And so hopefully you can be more successful by getting plant starts.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much how we learned.
Right, plant starts.
Yeah, we just went to a big box store, bought a bunch of plant starts, and put them in the ground.
Yeah, because after your last frost date, the stores are not going to be selling you things that are not going to be in season. So whatever they're selling, that's what's the time to get it into the ground. Now, so. Yeah,
plus I think it's good to plant what you're going to eat.
Yeah, that's true.
Like if you're like, hey, I like bell peppers. Okay, well, buy a pack of bell pepper plant starts and put them in the ground.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is you like to eat that you'll eat. And I think that'll just make you more excited about it when they actually do grow. Or even if you have kids, they get excited because these are the things that they eat anyways.
Yeah. Or actually, with the case for the kids, though, I recommend that you just grow what your family will eat. And even if your kids are kind of like, well, I don't know about this, I don't know about vegetables, grow it. When your children have their hands in the garden and they're seeing something that they've done, like that they're able to grow, they get so excited and they're more likely to try it. If it's growing in the garden and they knew they grew it themselves, they're more likely to try it and eat it. And yeah, I think it's a beautiful thing when children are out there and they're just eating straight out of the garden.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I hope that answers the question. If you're a first-time gardener, get the plant starts.
Yeah, don't be overwhelmed. Just put it in the ground.
And wait till your last frost date.
Yeah, just make it happen.
Yeah, it's not. I mean,
you don't have to be perfect.
I think what people see sometimes online is they see these big, giant backyard gardens. It doesn't have to be that right away. Like, just find a small space and plant a seed or plant the plant start, and then see how well it does. And then next year, try something else.
Yeah, just evolve.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're moving 3,000 miles away.
Buying some land.
Starting a homestead.
Getting some acreage.
Yeah, getting chickens. Boom. Next thing you know, you're doing it.
Next thing you know, you're butchering a cow with Hart and Bree.
Oh, man. Yeah. You never know.
You never know. Yeah. I want to talk about what's coming up. What's coming up?
Mother Earth News Fair.
Mother Earth News Fair is coming
in Asheville.
That's in Asheville, North Carolina. We'll be there.
Yes. When is that?
That is, oh, good question.
Let's look that up.
Let's look that up. I have it on my phone.
Let's Google that.
Let's see. No, I have it on my phone actually. It's
Now we go to the Mother Earth News Fair every year since we've been here.
1 month from now. April 27th.
Okay.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be fun if we got some extra tickets for that Mother Earth News Fair and we did like a giveaway or something?
Yeah, you think we can?
Oh, maybe we should try. We should try that. We could see if that's possible.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
We'll work on that. Maybe we could try to get some free tickets and do a giveaway.
On our podcast.
Ooh, that'd be fun. We'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe in our next, or closer to the date. I don't know. Well, that's all we have this week for our Sow the Land podcast. But I appreciate you guys watching. And if you guys are listening to us on any of these apps like iTunes, leave some feedback. You know, it helps our podcast grow and help us so more people can listen to us. If you leave a good feedback, or if you have any other feedback, hopefully it's all good. But yeah, give us some feedback and let us know how we're doing. We would really appreciate it.
And also send us your questions. We would love to be able to answer them on our next podcast episode. You want to say the email this time?
Yeah, it's hello.sowtheland@gmail.com.
Or if you're watching here on YouTube, just feel free to scroll down and leave a comment below.
Yeah, or if you follow us on Instagram, you could message us on Instagram or Facebook and ask us a question. Maybe we'll answer it on our podcast. But I appreciate you guys listening.
And watching.
This is Jason.
And Lorraine.
And what's it? From Sow the Land. All right. Thanks.
Thanks for, yeah.
Yeah. The listening and watching sometimes confuses me.
Yeah, thanks for listening and watching. Have a great day.
Yes, thanks.
We'll see you next week.